Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. This is the first episode of the new school year, 2023-2024. I'm your host, Bill Berger, and today's show is being brought to you by the Patricia Lindley Center for the Performing Arts, located here right next to the Wellington High School. Today we are focusing on football cheerleading. And before we actually get into that, I had a homework assignment. You can probably see that these sets are a lot different from what you're used to with Dialogue with the Dukes. So the digital media class is now part of the Career Technical Education Performing Arts program, or as I've been told, it's part of what's known as Career Tech. So welcome to all of you who are here in the digital media class and seeing this brand new set here on the stage at the Patricia Lindley Center for the Performing Arts. As I said, today we're talking about football cheerleading. To my immediate right, we have McKenna Solkevich, and to my immediate left, we have Ellie Libby, who you probably recognize from last year because she did this same interview last year. Both of these girls, I'm sure you will recognize if you go to the football games. They are right out in front of everybody cheering on the football team. So welcome both of you to Dialogue with the Dukes. My first question goes to McKenna. What kind of a mindset is necessary to be a successful cheerleader?
When thinking to be a successful cheerleader, I always think about being peppy and loud to get the crowd excited for the place that the football team is making, no matter how they're doing. You always want to be cheering them on.
Mm-hmm. Versus now, well, you're not very loud right now. Ellie, do you have to be outgoing to be a good cheerleader?
I think for the most part, but you just have to be loud and you have to have spirit. So as long as you're spirited, I think outgoing, you could just come with it.
Do you feel like you're outgoing?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Well, McKenna, I know that there's a lot of jumping involved, there's a lot of all kinds of stuff. How is gymnastics involved in cheerleading, and is there a special thing that you go through with gymnastics to be a successful cheerleader?
I think gymnastics is completely different from cheerleading, but the tumbling a lot is the same, but also some movements can be a lot different. I think the flexibility comes in handy when you do gymnastics to help cheerleading in your jumps. I know in gymnastics the jumps are a lot different from cheerleading jumps, but the tumbling comes easy when you do gymnastics.
Do you do something ahead of time to get yourself involved with the jumping around or the tumbling and things like that? Is there something that you do, and we'll talk about this later, but during the off season, is there something involved with that?
Stretching and just practicing a lot to get new skills. That's a lot.
Now we talk about gymnastics. Now there's another thing involved in cheerleading, and that's called dance. And how is dance actually involved in cheerleading?
Well, you have to know your certain motions and stuff to perform the dance. Like we perform in the middle of the quarters, between quarters and stuff. So we usually learn about one dance or two at camp.
Okay.
We don't perform at any game.
And you talked about camp. Talk about camp.
This year we did an at-home camp. So we had a UCA girl cheerleader come, and she taught us at home at Westwood.
Okay. I see. There's a difference between basketball cheerleading and football cheerleading. If nothing else, the sheer numbers involved. What is the difference between football cheerleading and basketball cheerleading? And is there a tryout for both?
There is a tryout for both. Sometimes we do separate tryouts. Sometimes we do a combined tryout. Really the crowd is different and the pace of the game. It's more difficult to call cheers during basketball cheer because the game's always switching between offense and defense. But football, you can kind of tell when you're on offense and defense for a long time, whether you're on the first down or
Football definitely goes a little, as my wife would say, but definitely football goes a lot slower than basketball. Do you just wait for a timeout, or do you just between plays? How is that space there, specifically with football?
Well, with football, you're not going to want to do an offense and defense cheer if you're on a third or fourth down because you can switch so quickly. But
Right.
if you're on a first or second down, you can do an offense or defense cheer. But if we're on a third or fourth down, we normally like to do neutral cheers, which are just not about either side. Or we can do switching cheers. So we have some cheers that are for offense and defense, and we can switch the words to whatever which player.
And then, as we talked about with Ellie, how does dance actually fit in there?
Well, our dances are very neutral, so we can do them anytime. But there's like a
And y'all do a fine job. How do you actually prepare, Ellie, for cheerleading? Do you do something during the off season? I mean, besides camp, you know, what do you do in the off season to prepare for being a cheerleader and passing your tryout?
Yeah. So usually in the middle of football and basketball, there's not that much time, so we still keep practicing. After basketball ends, we kind of take a break, and then when summer starts back up, in July we'll have practices all throughout July, and then we'll just start the normal season in August.
Mm-hmm. Now, I saw you all over with the track on the football. Is that they're starting in July? Is that when you, or do you have others? Because it gets awful hot during July.
We like to practice at the track, so it gives us like a feeling of like
sure.
sort of there's a game.
Mm-hmm.
But so we kind of just base it off the weather. If we're gonna be at Westwood practicing in the gym or at the
Okay,
track.
exactly. Well, we have something different this year. We lost one of our coaches, so Catherine Selzer is our only cheerleading coach. How do you feel that if there were changes involved, how did she actually put her stamp on the program? If she did put her stamp on the program, or is this like just a continuation type thing?
I think it's very special for her to be there just so long because it's hard to be a single coach, especially with so many girls. We have a lot of girls, so it's hard to deal with all of us as one coach. But she really steps up with how we feel outside of cheerleading as well. It's not just the sport that matters to her, it's us as an individual that she really takes account for. We do a lot of talking, a lot of us, but we just have to put a stop to that. And but she's a very good talkative person too, so she knows when to get to practice.
How is she, if any, how is she putting her stamp on the program? Is there something that she's doing special that hasn't been done in previous years? That haven't been done in previous years? Excuse my English.
I think having to know when she's a coach and when she's a friend really affects all of us. So not really a friend, but like someone to look up to.
Sure.
Really helps us all, knowing that we can go talk to her. Because a lot of coaches you can't do that with, but with her. So,
Oh, very good. Well, we definitely want to have a shout out, and I know there's a lot of cheerleaders for football. So, Ellie, I want you to list, if you could, all of the cheerleaders to have a shout out, so we can involve everybody that's on the football cheerleading squad.
First we have McKenna Slokavage, Autumn Jones, myself, Aslan Gross, Olivia Ramirez, Ava Robinette, Adriana Kapek, Hayden Diedrich, Peyton Teague, Kiki Ray, Elena Reynolds, Brooke Mosley, Katie Dixon, Nevi, Olivia Melick, and Adelina Robinette.
Needless to say, we can't fit all of those people in the basketball gym. Now, are all of those varsity cheerleaders, or are they some varsity and some JV? Is that right? So now, with the number of JV cheerleaders there, are they possibly going to be able to, for basketball tryouts, will they possibly be able to go to the varsity?
Yes, it's just, well, this year we did a combined tryout,
Okay.
so we already know like if they're on JV or varsity, but some girls like decide not to cheer basketball.
Okay, I see. Well, we'd like to thank both McKenna Slokevich and Ellie Libby, back for her second try at Dialogue with Dukes. And we'd like to thank them very much for coming in and talking about football cheerleading, and what the difference is between football and basketball, and how things are so much different outside in all of the elements. And needless to say, we've been very lucky so far, all of the elements versus inside in the gym where it's temperature controlled. Again, thank you very much, both of you. And we'll be back again very soon with another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. For the second episode here of Dialogue with Dukes, we're going to be talking about the golf team. And to my immediate right, we have Allie Gott. She is a member of the girls' golf team at Wellington High School. And Landon Davison, he should be very familiar to you. We interviewed you last year for golf, and we interviewed you for softball last year too. So you're an old hand at this, so you already know about Dialogue with the Dukes. So Landon, welcome. Glad to have both of you with us today. The first two questions are going to be exactly the same for both of you. We're going to start with Allie. For the golf season, what is different, because this is the second year, and we'll talk about the second year, what is different about this year's team versus last year's team and the actual matches themselves?
So this year we got a new coach. Our first coach, he left the school, So our new coach, he has never coached before,
Okay.
and we don't have a lot of matches this year like we did last year, but we have a lot more practice time. So it's better in essence that we can improve our swing and just improve overall.
The lack of matches. This is because within Lorraine County 8, there aren't that many girls golf teams. Is that it? Okay,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, same thing for you. Now, last year, as we'll talk about here in just a second, last year we were champions for the LC8. What's different this year about this year's team because we lost so many seniors?
We're struggling a little bit more this year, not having some of the seniors that we did last year, but we're just a tick below where we were last year, but still not too bad.
Well, in that vein, I want to read off a bit of a thing that was on the homepage of the website. The golf team won the LCA championship last year at the Greyhawk Golf Course. The Dukes went undefeated during the regular season, winning all of their 8 matches within the LCA. They also won the preseason tournament in August and followed up that performance with the postseason tournament win there at the Greyhawk Golf Course. The Dukes swept all of the other teams in the standings and gave them the outright championship. Coach Geyer was actually the coach of the year for the Dukes, and we had 3 players that were located or that were named to the first team, that being Braden Hamer, Riley Reyna, and Landon Davidson. And we also had 2 players, that being Jack Marsh and Lucas Sutherland, who were named second team, all LCA, so in the conference. So congratulations, a year last year for being on, all 5, as a matter of fact, either made first team or second team last year. So that was really great. Your second question to both of you. We talked about Coach Feliciano. It's his first year. How does he teach? How does he motivate, especially since he's never been a golf coach?
So he's really good about improving our swings and helping us one-on-one. When we have driving range days, he'll go down and work with us individually, and then there's days at practice where we work on one thing. He sees what we need to work on, and that's what we go work on. And he motivates us with buying us ice cream.
Oh, buying you ice cream. Does Coach Geyer buy you ice cream? No. You have to talk to him about that. Same question. Again, how does has he been your coach all the years? Okay. Now, is there something that he's doing different this year, if any, because of the fact that you were champions last year, lost so many players from last year?
We're practicing a little bit more this year than we did last year, just because we don't have as much talent as we did last year. And he's super good with keeping people in the right mindset. That's a big thing with golf, is being in a good mindset. And he's just good at finding good days to practice and getting us a lot of work.
Do you have as many matches this year?
Yeah, we have the same number last year.
About the same number? Exactly. Okay. Well, Landon, what other schools provide or present the biggest challenge this year versus last year, or this year within the LCA? Who are the schools that you're looking to, to kind of stand out that you really want to beat?
Keystone and Firelands. Firelands is a lot better this year than they were last year, so we are right around with them, and then Keystone's actually quite a bit better than us this year. So.
Do they have the same players back?
Yeah.
Do they really? So.
Yep. And the freshmen that they had last year quite a bit better this year. So.
Is that right?
Yep.
Is that right? Second year for the girls golf team. There's got to be a challenge, even though you already did it the first year and you were a member of it on the first year. There's got to be a challenge involved with. Okay, we did the first year. Nobody necessarily had big expectations or anything like that, but maybe you did. But now we're into the second year. So what is the team's biggest challenge or challenges involved now that you're in your second year?
So one of the biggest challenges is that a lot of the girls on our team play other sports or do other things. So a lot of times we're really busy to have a lot of extra practices on weekends if we want to. And a lot of the girls this year, this is their first time playing. They're new members, so this is their first year.
Did we lose people from last year?
Only one girl. She just didn't decide to play herself.
Oh, is that it? She didn't graduate. She decided not to.
She decided not to play.
I see. Okay. What is the most important skill when it comes to golfing? Is it within the mind, within paying attention? Is there a certain skill that's more important than anything else when it comes to golfing?
I feel like the mindset is the biggest thing for me, especially because like I really realized that more last year is if he had a bad shot, getting all mad about it and slamming stuff and everything else doesn't help anything. It just promotes another bad shot after that. If you can stay in the right mindset and stay positive, it'll actually help you out through your whole run.
I think I talked with Riley about that last year. We talked about, all of a sudden you hit a bad shot, do you carry it with you, or is that something that you, okay, forget that, we got to go on. Is that something that's really necessary, or is it a situation where, okay, it's a bad shot, but now this next shot, and concentrating on that particular shot, is that how you do it? Yeah, exactly. Okay. There's obviously no spectators or very few spectators. It's not like the football game. It's not like the basketball game. There's very few, if any, spectators involved. So there's obviously got to be motivation involved. Motivation within the individual, motivation within the team. How does the team motivate each other? How do you motivate other members of the team?
So the team definitely motivates each other by, no matter what, always telling them, good job, nice shot, like, you'll now play. Just always keeping each other positive instead of making each other mad or get upset over a shot.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite golf course to play on?
Last year was Little Met.
Okay.
Because it was a smaller, shorter course.
Okay.
And I shot really good that game.
Oh, good. What'd you shoot? You remember?
Low 50s.
Oh, that's good. Very good. I can't do that good, I guarantee. What's your favorite golf course?
I think most of them are New London's the course closest to me other than Echo, and I know the people that own the course and really friends with them, and it's a really nice course.
Just out of mere curiosity, how much out of practice do you actually go by yourself and go out and play?
I go not a whole lot, but sometimes I have a cousin that works at the course Whiskeyville.
Oh, okay.
He's a big time golfer. He always helps me out. And then I have some other friends of my dad that go golfing a lot that help me. So.
How about you, Landon?
I go out probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Do you really?
We go out and practice, yeah. I go out pretty much both weekends and both weekend days and a couple times for the week. So.
What's the best score you've ever done?
39, and I just shot it on Friday last week here.
39. Very good. And 50, low 50s, that's your best? Very good. Well, like we did with the cheerleaders, we want to have a shout out to all of the people on the team. So we'll start with you, Landon. Name all the people on the team.
Jack Marsh, Nate Glavich, Blake Crothers, and Colson Lawrence.
Very good. And on the girls' team?
Lily Oswald, Cameron Morris, Madison Minutillo, Morgan Dennis, and myself.
Very good. Well,
and
we'd like.
Brooklyn Regal.
I'm sorry?
And Brooklyn Regal.
Oh, okay.
I forgot Noah Clark too.
Oh, okay, no, fine. Okay, good. You got everybody, I hope. Well, once again, we'd like to thank both Allie and Landon for coming in. Landon for the 3rd time, and we may see you again for baseball, who knows? Exactly. We'd like to thank both of you for coming in and talking about the golf team. Golf is almost over with, is that not correct?
Yep, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, is that right? 2 weeks. So, that's why we always try to get golf in as the first interview, because it's almost done.
Yep.
Because you always start in, July, August is when? Yeah, August is when the matches first start, yeah. So, glad to have you coming in. I'm sorry it's so late in the season, but we had to have the digital media class get involved and get, with all this new equipment involved, we had to get them involved and learning about all this new stuff for them. So again, thank you very much. We'll be back again very soon with another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes.